They will. So I just want to be the person who show people it's possible to not change ourselves for the standard of society and our family, our parents, our friends, our surroundings, to be true to who you are and develop who you are. And just like I am, that's it. Yeah. So do that. You can do it. And I can do it. I'm from a dumpster. You can do it.
Welcome to the Funny in Failure podcast, a podcast that celebrates failure and shines the light on the emotional side of comedy, with yours truly, Michael Kahan.
This chat is outrageously funny, and Jiaoying doesn't hold back. Jiaoying is extremely resilient and empowering role model with a great, and as I said before, outrageous sense of humor, which I love. To hear her terrifying yet empowering experience of beauty standards and living life outside of the norm was really fantastic and inspiring to hear. This is a really interesting story of hardships and challenges, especially from the Chinese to American model, which I learned so much about. I also really recommend watching the video of this chat on YouTube, as Jiaoying's expressions are hilarious. The only way to describe it is wild. So let's get into it and officially introduce today's guest. Jiaoying Summers is a comedian, actor, producer, and CEO. From Dumpster Baby in China to TikTok comedy queen in Hollywood, Jiaoying Summers is one of the most dynamic and vivacious women in comedy. She's also one of the most popular comedians on TikTok with more than 1.2 million followers. She performs regularly at the Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, and Hollywood Improv. Her 30-minute comedy special is streaming on Peacock TV and Prime Video. She's the owner of the Hollywood Comedy Club in Los Angeles and focuses on producing shows that promote representation in comedy. She's also an award-winning actor and philanthropist, empowering women and children and helping causes that touch Asian American communities. So as you can imagine, we dive deep and we cover a lot, such as being banned from TikTok, mentors, people that inspire us, comedy clubs, growing up in China and their one-child policy, beauty standards, accents, and working in comedy as a mother. Before we get into this chat, in case you aren't aware, the videos are now available on YouTube under Michael Kahan. That's Kahan with a K, unless you're listening to it already. I find it adds a new element and dynamic to these chats. I'll still be posting snippets of these chats on Instagram under Funny and Failure, so check them out if you want to stay in the loop for upcoming episodes, or you want to ask a guest a question. I'd also love it if you would share the podcast or share your takeaways from the chat. It really motivates me, helps the podcast grow, and ensures I can lock in amazing guests like this one. And just as a final reminder, the podcast comes out every Monday at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, with the video to follow the following day. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's epic episode. This could be an interesting place to start. I always like to hear about mentors or teachers or someone that's kind of tapped us on the back and pushed us in a positive direction. And I heard about John Singleton, and you've said that he's changed your life for the good. Can you please tell me about him and what he's done for you?
Yeah. So I guess because I was so fortunate, so I didn't know I was lucky because it just came so out of the blue. I auditioned for John Singleton's TV series called Rebel. It's a movie, a TV series about this black girl. She's a cop, and she has this best girlfriend, sidekick, who is a Chinese girl who was born in San Francisco, Oakland. That's the movie. The TV show was taking place. I can see movie. I auditioned for that role, and I'm actually, before I was doing comedy, I was a very serious actress. I trained with Howard Fine for years and years, and I was in his master's class. I did Lady Death, and he clapped and cried. I was proud of me. I can act. Yes, nice. Studios film me for a movie, book me. I can fucking act. Yeah, good. I can. So sorry. I was auditioning for the role, and it was going well, but somehow I forgot a line. So I just improvising it, like trying to do improv. And then everybody was laughing, falling off their chairs laughing. laughing so hard. So John Singleton just like he jumped off the casting table. He just like took his phone, ran to me, playing this YouTube clip with Ali Wong, her
Oh,
baby
wow.
Cobra comedy special. He ran to me, breathless, like, you should do stand-up comedy.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, am I booked for the role? No, you're not. I'm like, why? He said, this girl, Karma, she has to have a San Francisco, Oakland accent. And you have a Chinese accent. You can't play that role because I'm not about to change my script. So I was actually pretty defeated. I didn't understand when he asked me to stand up. It was a compliment. I just saw that, oh, I'm so bad. I can't get a role. And if I can't even get an audition memorizing the lines on a script, how could I ever do stand up? It's impossible. So, but it was sweet. Before I leave, John Singleton said, can I have your phone number? I'm like, are you hitting on me? But he wasn't. We got a phone number. And after 2 weeks, text me randomly on a Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. He goes, did you have your first open mic yet? I said, no. He said, you should do open mic because you are going to become a comedian. I'm like, who said that I'm going to become a comedian? I'm not going to become a comedian. I can't even do acting. He said, the thing is that nobody's writing roles for you, an Asian woman with an accent. So you have a gift in comedy. What you should do is that you work on your comedy. You work very hard. You become very good at stand-up. You become a star. All the studios, they'll be making a movie for you because you are the only one. So I'm like, that sounds nice. I'm like, can I be in your movies? Like, I don't have movies, but I think like I'll be there to direct your first Netflix comedy special in 2 years.
He said that to you.
He said to me, he died on me, so he ghosted me. The best way he can to ghost me, he died. You're like, oh, how can you go somebody and be nice about him? Like, be like John Singleton. He died on me, so he can't. I think I was bitter because I've been doing acting for 10 years. I learned it. I was doing it in school. I'm so passionate about acting, but I can get callback, and then I never get a role because they want somebody who speak American English. You want somebody, who is more famous. So I never really did stand up. And then I had a baby. I got married. I had a baby. And John Singleton said, like, oh, did you do your first stand up after so long? I'm like, not yet. Maybe I should, because all my friends, they are blowing up, becoming big actors. And like, I just have no career. It was just like so depressing. So I went to my first open mic. Just after the baby, I was still breastfeeding. I went to open mic in Koreatown. I went in, I did my set for 2 minutes. I bombed so hard. I remember I was walking down the stairs and I heard people saying like, somebody should not be doing comedy.
Wow.
It was so sad. I went to the bar. I got a big glass of vodka. And then I went to my parking spot and went to my car and cried. I started crying because when you're breastfeeding, you cry, like the milk shoots out. So I got a cup catching the milk. And then they're like 2 cups of milk. I put it together. I'm like, what? I mean, oh, I can't feed my baby this. My baby can't drink this. This is like it's vodka. No, I'm like, this is vodka. This is like the best white Russian in the world. I just drink the whole thing. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm going back tomorrow.
Oh.
So that started my open mic career. I realized that I've been driving to Santa Monica, to Hollywood, and to the Valley. There's only like 3 spots per night. You can't even get it because sometimes it's a lottery. So I bought my own comedy club because I heard that there's like a 10,000 hours rule. Yep. To be good at anything, you have to be like doing for 10,000 hours. I'm like, that's not enough time. I don't have patience. I need to be a star in 5 years. So this is not going to cut it. I'm going to buy my own club. I do 10 hours a day.
10 hours a day.
Yeah, I did my club. I've been doing 10 hours a day ever since.
Jeez, actually 10 hours a day.
10 hours a day, but then I got better. I started getting passed at the major clubs. So I just do the clubs. But I still do 2 nights, meaning like 2 shows a night, 7 days a week. So still more than most comedians.
That's more than pretty
I
much
write
everyone.
every day, I spend all of times writing. I write my own jokes.
Okay. You've said like 100 things, so we're going to have to break this down because that is a crazy story.
It's
And
crazy. John Singleton is crazy.
well, you're
He forced.
crazy.
I am crazy, I
But
mean, John Singleton, he literally like, if you don't do stand up, shame on you. I'm like, oh my god, like what the fuck?
I like that he's still haunting you from the grave.
He
But
told me shame on you.
how nice is it though that he saw something in you? You know, you said you took it
He
as a
hung me
negative.
down.
uh, he saw something in you in that audition, and you
Okay.
know you wanted to get the role, but it actually pushed you in a
Dying for the role.
completely
It
different
could be my
direction.
star making role.
Say that again.
It could be my star making role. It's a Chinese girl. I was dying for that role. I was like, that is my destiny, and I didn't get it.
What made you get it? What made you eventually decide? Because it sounded like quite a few years have passed by since.
I think stand up. When the first time I did it and I bombed, and I feel like there's two things more to do that day when I was drinking the White Russian in my car, parked. Don't I was thinking there's two things for me: is give up or become the best in the business. I
Nice.
choose the latter.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, but I'll spend the rest of my life to pursue it. So my whole life of Jiaoying Summers is to become the best in the business. I'll pursue that until I die. I'll get closer to it. Maybe I'll never get there, but that's what I want. And that's exciting. That means that you don't stop. You never get cocky because I'll never be the best in the business in my lifetime, but I'll be pursuing it. Maybe I get closer. And I love that. I
Well,
love George Carlin. He's my favorite.
it would keep you humble with that mentality, knowing that you're
Yeah, I'll
always,
always humble.
that's really good because you've achieved so much. But to strive to keep on being the best is just, that's a really interesting mindset. Why, how did you fall in love with it? Even though you bombed the first time, were you scared or could you still feel how this was something you needed to do?
The first time I bombed, I felt that was a lack of practice. I didn't feel that I wasn't talented because I'm just like very confident. I was born a confident person. So I didn't think I was bad because I'm not talented. I feel like because I've never done it before. But it gave me so much more respect for that industry. I realized that the people who is funny is amazing. Who is not funny, they are better than me. So it humbles me and it gave me the respect for this business. Like it's very hard. This
Yep.
craft is very hard. If I can master it, I respect myself for being very good at it. So I think it's a respectful career because when you see somebody on stage doing things and being funny, you're like, oh, a microphone talking, I can do it. But like when you do it, you fucking suck. Like
Yeah.
then I feel like, oh, it's not hard. Like Ali Wong, I mean, how hard can be? I go there, I eat shit. So I'm like, she's good. She's
Very
been
good.
doing it for decades. She's good. So it made me feel like if I can be ever good at this thing, I respect myself because I know how hard it is.
It, it's still very wise of you. Often when someone's not good at something, we give up. A lot of humans do that. Well, they try a few times and they're not good, and it can be very embarrassing. It can be very hard. Getting a bomb can be very challenging at the start. But it sounds like you always had that foresight as soon as you picked up that microphone, that it doesn't matter how bad you were at the start, you were going to be good. So did you just
Yeah.
know that you were going to be good? You felt it inside?
Yeah, I know that I may not be the most beautiful girl in Hollywood. I may not be the most like the girl who's sweet and nice, but I'm the funniest girl because I've always been funny. Being a comedian has been my savior my whole life
Oh,
because
savior.
in China in the 90s, being dark skinned, having big lips, looking like me, I wasn't pretty, I wasn't demanded, I wasn't desired, and I never had a guy want to date me. I never had a girl who want to be my friend, and I wasn't a pretty girl. But I
Really?
love attention. I'm craving attention. So I was always a smart one who did everybody's homework. I was always a funny girl who made everybody laugh. And I was very popular because I'm funny and I'm smart. So I mean, I being not pretty is one of the worst thing a girl can ever overcome, and I did that. So I was a funny girl, and I am pretty sure I wasn't a pretty one, but god damn it, I was funny. So I knew I was funny. I've been funny with the most difficult and mean people I grew up with, and I know I can be funny if I can speak English.
Your English is great, but it is very interesting. You talk about not being pretty, but been listening to a lot of your interviews, and it sounds like China has a completely different beauty standard to America. Because when you came to America, you gave a story about how a future NBA player thought that you were the pretty one, and whereas your friend who looks she like covers herself in what was it, like foundation and white, and she
Yeah,
thought the future NBA player was talking about her, but he's actually
yeah,
talking about you, and then you realize that you are actually pretty. So was that like an
yeah.
eye opener for you? What was the whole context of that story?
I think that was a life-changing moment of my life,
Oh wow.
and was exactly why I have expanded my horizons. I decided to go to America. I
Mm.
love China as much as I love China, and I did not believe some standards of beauty that is ingrained in people's skin, deep in their heart, that is the truth. The absolute truth is that being whiter is being prettier.
So in
And
China, just for context, that in China, being seen as very white is what people think is beautiful.
in Chinese saying, there's 一白遮三丑, is that if you are white, it will cover all the ugly on you.
Oh my God.
So if
Wow.
you are fat, you have a huge nose, and you have body odor, but you are white, you are hotter than fucking Jennifer Lopez.
That makes no sense.
So if you look perfect, you have beautiful face, beautiful body, beautiful personality, everything, but you are dark, you're ugly. That's the Chinese beauty standard
Wow.
at its fullest. I was cast to play the leading role for a Chinese romantic comedy. And the director said that, okay, first of all, lose 40 pounds. Secondly, we're going to do the IV treatment for your skin to remove all the melanin on your skin. Melanin, the
Yeah.
dark. How
Wow.
to stop it?
Malone,
Uh,
I've forgotten the word, but people
How
know
to
what.
hit like a melanin
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to reduce the melanin in my skin so I can be whiter. I'm like, why? He said that nobody in Asia would be convinced that you are the romantic interest
That
if you're
is
dark as you are.
insane.
So I quit the movie
Good
because
for you.
I said thank you, but no. I spent my whole life for 28 years. I went to America for 8 years just to be okay with my skin and who I am. I'm not about to go to China and remove the melanin in my skin to become a bleached asshole to prove the idea that I have to be white to be pretty. And I'm done. I'm fine. I'm gonna go back to Hollywood and be a fucking star, bitches.
I love that. That is also a huge credit to you for having that confidence because it sounds like given China and their beauty standards, it can really mess someone up because we don't want to be told we're ugly. No one does. And then if their standards are so different to America, for example, you might think like, oh, maybe I get this really poisonous treatment to take out a part of my being just to fit in the movie. But it sounds like you had the confidence and knowing to say, I'm not doing that. That's too fucked up for me. I'm not going into
I
that. And
can do
thank you.
that, but my whole life is about empowering girls with darker skin to love their skin and to believing that being dark, being a dark girl in Asia, like we are misunderstood. We are gorgeous. We are beautiful. Like if I bleach my skin and play the lead girl, it betrays my whole purpose and
Yeah.
my whole idea when I was 17, struggling coming to America. My whole life is just burned into the ground. I can't do that. I don't give a fuck.
Nice. So in this story, so you move from 18 from China to Kentucky, and you're an 18-year-old or 19-year-old, I don't know how old you are at this time, and this NBA player says that you are beautiful. You said it changed your life. What happened there?
I think so. I was the geek Asian with the glasses, and my hair was like covering my face because I know I'm ugly. It's a public service to cover my face so I don't scare people.
Jeez.
And I was very good at math. I got my job being the math tutor at the Kentucky, like the tutor lab.
Yeah.
And then all people are coming, and all of our basketball players, they came to get their homework work done and helping with their homework. And I was just working, and my friend, she was not a math tutor. She was too hot to be smart. So she was out. She was, let's say, 75 pounds, 5'9".
Whoa, I don't really know that.
She's whiter than a bleached asphalt. She's whiter than Nicole Kidman. I mean, she's white. She white.
Yeah.
And she never seen the sun before. She wear long sleeves and a big hat and like goggle to make sure she's not getting tan.
Wow.
She was sitting next to me because I won't be her friend because I was ugly. I want to be having pretty friends to my friend. So I think that was a night that we beat Louisville team like in.
Oh, yeah, in basketball.
And then one of the player, he was coming to get his homework worked on, and then before he was leaving, he's like, "Oh, we beat the team. So we beat the other team, and I was wondering if you would like to join us for the after party, and you can bring a +1." I know he was looking at me while I was talking. I was just like looking down and working on my phone. I just know there's no way he's talking to me because I'm not the pretty one.
Interesting.
And my friend was like, "Of course, that's my phone number." And he's like, "Oh, no, no, honey. I was talking to her, pointing me in my glasses and like my hair." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm talking to you." I'm like, I didn't even know what to say, but my Chinese girlfriend who's white, and she's like, "I'm sorry. Let me help you. In China, she's ugly. I'm the hot one."
Wow, your friend said that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even get angry because that was what my mom told me, my grandma told me my whole life, and that's the right thing to say. You know?
Okay.
So I didn't say anything, and he's like, "What?" She goes, "Oh, because," he's like, "Why? You're the hot one." She's like, "Oh, because you don't know that, but like, let me help you. In China, she's too dark to be pretty. I'm the pretty one." He started laughing. He almost fell down.
Oh, really?
He laughed so hard. He's like, "Oh my, He laughed so hard. It was crazy. I'm like, "Is he okay?" He was laughing so hard. He almost fell down. He went back. He's like, "Damn, bitch, you just jealous. She's gorgeous. You not pretty, honey."
So, what, there's a lot there. Because you've grown up your whole life thinking that you're not pretty.
Like, I'm ugly for being dark to a black man? I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But also
and
just being.
Laugh so hard, like that's the most ridiculous thing ever. And it kind of lifts up all the racism, all the abuse that I have encountered my whole life. So after he did that, he got back, he fell down, he laughed. I just put my hair back, take off my glasses. I can't see him. I said, "I'll be there."
Oh, nice.
I'm like nearsighted. I can't see him. I'm a geek. I'm like, I took it because I want to be pretty. I'm like, because my hair was like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
put it all back.
I'll be there. I went there. I became popular.
I hope that you ended your friendship with that lady.
Thank you, John Wall.
Oh, John Wall.
I don't know which one was it because I wasn't following the basketball, but that guy went to NBA, so I don't know which one.
Yeah, if it was John Wall, he's one of the greats. So I'm glad that John Wall.
I don't know if it was him, but it could be.
Okay. So that moment obviously changes your life. Does it release all this trauma? Because it'd be terrible for anyone on the planet to go through life thinking they're ugly when they're obviously, first of all, no one's ugly, but just being told you're ugly purely because of the most ridiculous thing because you're slightly too dark. Whereas in America and Australia, being dark is probably like stereotypically more popular. So did you just release all of this and just go, you know what, I am actually pretty, like I am beautiful and all of that stuff I've heard is not true? Did it take time or did you get it quite quickly?
I think it was life changing because after that, I was I had the courage to wear a dress,
Ah,
to put my hair up, to put on makeup, and to date people. Like I think it was the life changing moment of me to know that I'm desirable, I'm attractive. I mean, when you wake up in the morning with all the trauma, you look at yourself in the mirror, you feel ugly and bad. But when you see people and then they don't look at you the way you think you do, and
mm,
but definitely it was a life-changing moment of me becoming more feminine because I didn't think I was allowed to be feminine because my mother always tell me don't wear pink, don't have long hair because people make fun of you because you're not pretty but you try to be a girl. So my mom wasn't being mean. She was right. She wouldn't let me wear pink, and I'm like, I don't know. I brought my sister's dress, and I went to school. Kids throw rock on me. They were like, "You're so dark and ugly. How dare you wear pink, you ugly bitch!"
wow. Has it changed in China? Is it getting better? Is it the same?
It's the same.
Why do you think that is? Because it's so different to where we are now.
Because the standard of beauty in Asia is pale. If your skin's lighter, you're pretty. If you're darker, you're ugly. And I want to change that. That's why I'm not going to get lighter. And I want to become. I mean,
You
I'm working very well, very hard on becoming successful,
you
but I
are
want to become more
successful.
well known. Thank you. More well known. So girls who are told they're ugly their whole life, look at me, be like, she's darker than me. Like the way I look at Holly Berry. I'm like, is she ugly?
Nope.
You can be like, she's gorgeous. I'm like, but she's darker than me. You're like, no, she's American. She can be darker than be pretty, but you're ugly. You're fit a lot of fry pan.
There's a lot of hypocrisies there because that doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
I'll be the girl in China. Everybody's like, oh my God, she's darker than me and she's pretty. She thinks she's pretty, but I'm darker than her. I'm lighter, like I'm lighter or darker, but it doesn't matter. Like they understand that they can be darker or lighter than me and they be pretty because I carry myself like a pretty girl. I mean, like right now. Before I'm
Nice.
like, oh, now I'm like, oh, I love my skin. I just love
It
my skin. It's amazing. I'm dark because I love it. I don't want to lie, like, oh, I love it now, but the next day I'm bleaching. I'm like, no, no, I'm not bleaching anything. This is amazing. Girls, love your skin.
it's also a metaphor for life because it's literally the skin on your body, but also being you and being who you are. And it sounds
Yeah,
like this is, yep.
I used to use a little, like a blade to remove the surface of my skin in the summer to get leather. Like it's so poisonous. Like the colorism is so bad in Asia. It's not even funny. I
Yeah.
want to be the person, be like, be dark and be fabulous bitches. We are hot.
And you're doing that. And I like that you're going back to empowering women, well, everyone, like men as well, to see like the skin literally makes no difference. It
Yeah,
annoys me. And I know I haven't lived your life. The only positive is that maybe I would be very attractive in China because I am so pale. So that's the
yeah.
only,
If you're like in China, with the 100% you can be ugly as long as you're white, you're hotter
yeah, it
than every.
makes it's very toxic because it takes away from the personality. And, you
No,
talked
you
about
don't
being
have to be hot. You have to be like a bleached asshole. That's all.
well, so, so now because it's kind of like conditioning and brainwashing in a sense, and America and Australia haven't got it right either, but at least they're more accepting, not even accepting, it's just that's how it should be. You would just say that China is very different in that regard. When you said your mum still makes comments, does that affect you as much? Or do you just go, eh?
No, my mom's like, thank God your daughter is whiter than you.
And how does that make you feel?
I'm like, Buddha is listening. I don't care next to me. I can't listen to my mom. If I do, I'll shoot myself.
True, but have you, because, she probably thinks she's helping you in some way. Have you, and I guess because she's kind of been conditioned by that system to think that she's potentially doing you a favor, have you expressed this to her or you just realize there's no point and you're confident and who cares what your mum thinks?
There's no point. I mean, she's like, you are very cute. You are so pretty. I married your dad because he's handsome and you got his look, so you are a good looking girl. But you are dark, but it's not, but it's okay because you can have everything.
Jeez. So does that impact you, or do you see the funny side in it? Because I know you talk about this in your stand-up. Do you just
I
laugh?
love it. I
Oh,
love
you do.
it.
Oh, how come?
Because, she feel bad for me. I didn't get her white skin, so she's nice to me. If I got her white skin, she would think I'm so privileged. She'll be mean to me. More. She's like, I won't be mean to you because you didn't get my white skin. You are suffering from not being as pretty as you should be. So you don't have to wake up early and do things. Let me do it for you.
So you got
I'm
a
like,
bit of
yes,
leeway.
mommy. Uh-huh. My mom is like very white. She's pale white.
Interesting.
And my dad is very handsome.
Okay. So when you went from, so I know you're from the one child policy, which we'll talk about in a second, but I would assume based on listening to you in other podcasts that you were probably expected to maybe be a doctor, a lawyer, or be inverted commas um, a high viewed job. When you just told them you were doing acting and then transitioning into stand up, how did they take that?
I have a very good joke about me telling my mom that I want to be a comedian in a restaurant. So we were at Ding Tai Feng, which is DTF. I mean, if you think about it, you always, like, when you ever ask your friend to meet you at a place, you're like, how about DTF? You're like, I'm not down to fuck. But it's like a Chinese dim sum restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like a very good dim sum. So we were there, and I was just like minding my own business. And I'm like, oh, I should talk. I'm like, Mom, actually, I want to become a comedian. She's like, come closer to me. I'm like, thank you. I got closer. She goes, let me tell you, honey, just because you failed in acting doesn't mean you can make it in comedy.
Jeez. Oh.
So I'm like, that's it? She goes, no, no, there's more. But like, let me whisper to you because I'm like, why do you have to whisper to me? She goes, those people over there on that table, they didn't pay to hear my wisdom.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, now let me hear your wisdom. And she goes, honey, just because you failed in acting doesn't mean you can make it in comedy because not all ugly people are funny.
Wow. But you laugh at it, so it sounds like it doesn't impact you. Whereas if my mom said that to me, I'd probably be a wreck. Do you just laugh? Like
Really
you,
upset me because that helped me, in fact, because comedy is so dark and brutal. She was telling me ugly shit over and over. I'm like, you can't even roast me as bad as my mom. Fuck you, bitches. I have prepared for comedy.
so you're saying that despite how I perceive your mum being mean, that it has built you up more emotional resilience towards everyone else?
Totally. Like, I'm laughing. I'm like, my mom is so good.
But does it impact you? I don't understand. You're smiling, you're laughing, you get content out of this. Does it impact you, or you just
No,
understand that's
I'm
your
like,
mum?
oh my God, my mom is hilarious. That's probably why I'm funny.
Well, I'm glad that you can laugh because that would be a lot of therapy for me if I heard that. So now that
My
you
mom's
are,
like, why do you go to a therapist? I'm like, because of you? Because, so how much your therapist pay you? I'm like, no, mom, I pay my therapist. Talk to me. She goes, no, daughter. You have 1.2 million followers on Instagram and on TikTok. They should pay you $10,000 to speak to you for 1 hour. Let me call them and pay you the money. I'm like, mom, nobody's paying me to fix my mental problem caused by you. Then why don't you talk to me for free?
okay,
I'm like, if I talk to you for free for 1 hour, it costs us 20 hours of paid job for the fucking therapist.
okay. I love that.
Oh, that makes sense. Don't talk to me no more, daughter. I don't want to cost more money.
Does she understand what she's saying or how she's being, or you just like whatever? That's my mom.
She think I'm lucky. She's like, I'm still alive. You lucky. I'm like, okay.
I am. I have to say that the way that you laugh and seem to process this, because Yeah, there's a lot of childhood traumas from this. Perhaps the way that's being spoken is not the nicest way, but you're laughing, you're smiling, you love your mom, you understand that's your mom. That's very
I love
empowering.
her.
Yeah.
She's like, so like I had a ex-boyfriend who met my mom, right? And then when we were like in LA, it was a long time when I was very young,
Mm.
and the white guy I was dating. So we were driving by downtown LA, a lot of like tents and homeless problems. So the white guy was trying to do a small talk with my mom to get her to like him, right? He was like, "Hey, Julia, I was just like appreciating the Chinese culture because I don't see any Chinese people out there are homeless. Why is that?" So my mom look at him. She goes, "Oh, it's very simple. If my daughter cannot pay her Tesla payment next month, I shoot her. She dies. She don't go out on the street and bring shame to me."
Uh,
I think she's funny. I'm like, oh my
that,
god, mom.
that is great, and that's all I gotta say on that. I'm sure he was shocked.
I can't pay the Tesla payment. You want to shoot me? Elon Musk. How much do you charge for a blowjob? Like, what the fuck? I don't want to die.
And you've mentioned a few things. Oh, this is great. So you mentioned that you were acting for 10 years and you felt like a failure. Then you get this amazing advice to pursue stand up, and stand up has become your calling, and you've built a
Yeah,
a great following. You're a very successful stand up comedian. Has
I
that,
am.
you are, you've done a lot, and we'll get,
Yes, I am.
you are great.
Thank you.
So has that changed what your view of success was? Because you thought that you were going to be an actor, and you still are going to be an actor. I know you're doing a movie that's coming up, but now it's you've transitioned into another area, still doing the acting, but you've realized that success, your like view of success may have changed. Is that true?
Yes, and that's all go back to the theme of our podcast is that success in failure.
Yeah.
As my whole life. When I was born, I was a failure because I don't have a penis. And then I was a failure because I wasn't light skinned and my lips were too big and I talk too much because I should be a quiet girl who had light skin and don't talk. But no, I can't shut the fuck up and nobody liked me. I was the problem. I was the shame. Everything about me is a shame. Being ugly, being not charming, being undesirable. And then I just decided to run against it because I don't think they were right on me. And sometimes when you are defined, girls and boys, you are too loud, too noisy, too much, or too little, too quiet, or too big, or too small, or too fat, or too skinny, or too black, or too white. White people, like when you are like, you're so white, you look, fuck you, you know, too black, too white. It doesn't really matter. You are just perfect. Fuck those bitches. Fuck them. They are saying whatever it is convenient to control you. You do you. You study, you get smarter, and you explore, you research, you know what's going on in the world, and you define who you are, and you be who you are, and you find your interest, you find your talent, and you find what you want in life, and you work hard on developing the talent, and you are going to be good at what you do. You're going to be successful and famous and good at what you do, and fuck all of them. They'll be like, oh, I want to be your friend. They will. So I just want to be the person who show people it's possible to not change ourselves for the standard of society and our family, our parents, our friends, our surroundings, to be true to who you are and develop who you are. And just like I am, that's it. Yeah. So do that. You can do it. And I can do it. I'm from a dumpster. You can do it. You are better than me.
Okay, no,
And
everyone's equal, but that is the most empowering thing I've ever heard, being true to yourself, because that's the goal of the game. And you're a role model. I know you've got kids, you're a role model to your kids to show that despite all of this negative chitter chatter, you've gone out and you're killing it. And just to someone like me as well, because it's more than just skin. This is just the message that I'm hearing is be true to yourself. Doesn't matter what you look like, who you are, just be you, and then success will come if you put in the work.
Yes, because everything about me is failure. My hair, my eyebrow, my eye, my nose, my face, my cheekbone, my lips, my teeth, my breasts, my body. I'm too ugly, too short, too tall, legs too long, too short. You can never be enough for other people, but you are enough for yourself. You'll always be enough for yourself. You are the most beautiful creation by God. Every inch of your skin is amazing. It is. It'll always be. You have to define it. Once you define it, it will always be amazing.
That once again, that's amazing. And you mentioned the one child policy, and I don't know if you're being serious about almost being thrown in a dumpster, but I know that a lot of kids that weren't potentially males, or even if they had a second child, they were thrown in there. So I heard in like one of your stand-ups that you kind of like beat that, and I know that's very horrific and be very triggering to a lot of people. But you mentioned that if you could like survive the dumpster, then that's, I forgot what the word was, that you'd be okay. Like you beat that. Your parents like wanted you, which is terrifying from my end that that's even a possibility in the world.
It is. It just give me so much more reasons to be empowering girls, especially Asian women, because Asian women, we are taught to be obedient. It is a good quality of an Asian woman is obedience. If you are an Asian woman, you are empowered, you are gorgeous, you are smart, you dress well, you are charming, you are sweet, but you are not obedient, you are never gonna marry well, you are never gonna have a good life. We were taught that way. And my whole life right now, what I'm saying, like, do not be obedient, only to be obedient to yourself. Do whatever the fuck you want, because the thing is that you can listen to a man. Once you listen to the man wants to control you and tell you what's wrong with you, that you should not work, you should not look like that, you should not do that and that. They want to control you and destroy your belief system. So I feel like a woman, our job is to empower the younger people, the boys and the girls, and to become a successful, strong woman is so important, especially Asian woman, is that when you are a strong Asian woman, your son is less likely to be toxic. Because when he see his mother work so hard, fight so hard, just to have the equal opportunity, pursuing of having a equal opportunity as the man, not even that white man, even the Asian man. You can't have it, but she died trying. He sees that. He's gonna less likely to become toxic towards a woman because he understands how hard it is to be a woman. But if you are a woman who give up your whole career, stay at home, let your husband scream and yell at you and verbally abuse you and be like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but your son is turned off. Like, why is my mom such a pussy? Why is my mom such a moron? Why is mama have no job? Why my mom so stupid? Why my mom have no opinion? Fuck women, fuck them. So whenever we see like Barack Obama, like a man who was raised by a strong single woman, they love and respect women more. Like Barack would never cheat on his wife because he understands to respect a strong woman. Because he understands how hard it is for a strong woman, how exciting, amazing to be around a strong woman. So being a strong Asian woman is going to influence my son to become a good man who love and respect women. So being obedient to let the abuse happen to you is not helping. It's not gonna make the next generation better. Of course, my daughter, she's taking no shit. She'd be like, my mom can make $2 million a year, and you're not telling me to suck your dick because you pay rent, bitch. I go to Harvard next year. Fuck you, bitch. Like, my daughter is never ever going to let a man tell her what to do and tell her that you are fat and ugly.
Yeah.
Or dark or white. Or like, you are too white, you are too pale, you are too dark, your nose too big, your boobs too small. She'd be like, bitch, shut the fuck up. My mom is gonna slap you and I do too. So I think being a strong Asian woman is going, I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for everybody.
Yeah. And it's not just Asian people, it's everyone. Seeing a strong person.
Obviously.
Yeah, but you're doing what for your family, and that breeds. So someone like me sees that, and that impacts my life as well. But obviously, you start a role model with your family, and you're teaching compassion. For example, your son will be able to see that everyone's equal, and you talk about the abuse. Pretty much what I'm hearing is be the best that you can be, and that will manifest in so many beautiful ways. Your kids will see it, family will see it, and you're showing yourself, more importantly, that you deserve respect. And if we don't believe we deserve respect, then kind of the universe or the world or whatever
You
will
don't.
they won't give it to us. And so you're being
The
true to
universe
yourself.
is only gonna give you 1% of the respect you give yourself.
Mm.
You want to be making $1 million? You better believe you can be a billionaire. You want to be like, I can pay rent? You better believe that you can be a millionaire. Like, you have to give yourself the love and respect. In return, you can get 1 or 2% of that. If you
Yes.
think I'm gonna fucking lose, oh, honey, you will. You fucking will.
So this is all about belief systems, which is something that
It
I've
is.
been studying for quite some time. Were you always aware of this, or is this something you've had to learn and understand later in your life?
I was in denial of me being undesirable. I was in denial of me being ugly. I was in denial of my big lips is ugly part about me. I was in denial of my dark skin is the thing is gonna stop me from marrying a good man and from having a good job because I was only 14. I fell in love with this Chinese boy in middle school. I wrote him a love letter, a poetry, a fucking motherfucking poem. Like it's long poem, it's a fucking haku, like a fuck. He wrote back, if your skin was lighter, I would date you, but you are too dark. I can't do this to
Whoa.
bring embarrassment to my friends.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm like, wait a minute. Am I that ugly? Like, what's wrong with me? He goes, your skin is too dark. I'm like, hello, Halle Berry is darker than me. She's the motherfucking goddess of the fucking world. She's one of the most beautiful women in the world. I don't get it. I just don't. But other girl be like, oh, they do the IV treatment to get lighter.
Yeah, that's just
So
crazy.
they become prettier
Yeah.
and they get what they want, the pretty guy they want. I don't. I'm like, no, 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 no. You be so wrong. You are fucking wrong. I'm going to America. I'm going to find out what's going on. I have this thing in me that I'm so arrogant. I don't believe in the society I live in. Like, I
It's
don't
all,
believe in the whole world. My mother, my grandma, my best friend, my dad, everybody tell me you are not pretty because you are dark. I'm like, huh? I don't think so. Maybe it's just you guys. Maybe you are poison. Maybe if I move up to the next dimension, you guys are wrong. That's what I did. I came to America and I found my skin is beautiful.
exactly. But it's still really interesting that to have that awareness is one thing, which is brilliant, but to actually actively look at your belief systems and change them. Was that purely from moving to America? Have you met people? Have you had to study things? Was it therapy? Was it a combination of everything to change your belief systems?
I think it is a combination of everything. Working in restaurants. I grew up in a well-to-do family. I always had nannies and help and my whole life. I never worked or cleaned or did anything. My mother wanted me to go back to China to go to the best school in China to study literature, become a professor. And I want to stay. And she's like, get back now. I won't pay for anything. I found 4 jobs. I
Whoa.
cleaned the ladies' asshole who lay in bed. I work in a Japanese restaurant, Thai restaurant, Turkey restaurant, Japanese. I mean, I work the lowest low of low jobs with my hand. Like I would say, like my hand, I don't have wrinkles. It look ugly now, but every bit of the wrinkle I appreciate because it make me. I'm very easy to work with because I work so much in the health industry, in the like service industry that I serve people. They tell me like they are abusive, and I appreciate people in the service industry. And I feel like if I never worked in the service industry, I'll be a big bitch because I've always been hand my whole life. My mother owned restaurants and hotels, and I don't have to work. I have nannies and help and maid helping me my whole life. I have my pinkies up like, why are you so slow, bitch? But now I'm like, don't talk to her like that. Mm-mm. No,
Which
because
is,
I was her. I was rubbing people's feet and cleaning their ass. I was cleaning dishes. while I was in school. So that was the best experience of my life, and I will always be grateful. And that kind of really made me a happy person.
Oh,
After
wow.
I start to appreciate my mother. I start to forgive my mother because she made my life so easy, put me in a place to judge everybody. Oh,
Mm.
you're too fat. You're so slow. Why are you so poor? When I start becoming the bitch who clean the bathroom and clean the fucking floors and serving people, I understand that every penny my mother paid for me to be me should be appreciated.
Mm.
And ever since, our relationship changed. She apologized because I apologized to her, like, I'm sorry, mom, I'm a bitch. I'm being so hard for you to manage. She goes, I'm sorry to keep telling you you're ugly. You're just dark, but you're not ugly. You are a very pretty girl. You're just being dark, but hope it's good in America to be dark.
Oh, wow. That taught you compassion to go through the highs and the lows and to see that it was a great opportunity. That's a huge
Yeah,
credit to you.
I'm a
And
good tipper. I tip 40%. Got me my reservation, fancy restaurants.
nice. But more on that is that to go through something like that, the highs and lows from the wealth to, like, let's just say the lack of wealth, that's probably not the best way of saying it. But to go through that and see like the blessing and how that's changed you, it's taught you compassion. It healed an aspect of your relationship with your mum. That's amazing. And
Yeah,
it
if
makes
I
you,
stay in China, I went to Peking University, it's Beijing University in Beijing, which is like the Harvard of China. I become a literature professor. My mother would spend probably like $4 million to buy me apartment, and she also is gonna spend a lot of money to buy a poor guy who is white and handsome to marry me because I'm not pretty enough to be married to a handsome guy. But my mother put money in, so he'll marry me even though I'm dark. Is
wow.
that gonna be okay? It's
No.
gonna be miserable. He'll cheat on me, be like, oh, I marry you, even though you're dark. Fuck you, bitch. Beyonce is not even look at you, bitch. Like you're nothing.
Yeah. So I like that you can see all of this and empathy and compassion came up. But also what's really interesting, you said at the start of our chat, is that there weren't quite the equal opportunities doing stand up for yourself. So you really had to fight to get into the
Oh,
doors.
it is the worst thing ever. Being a woman in comedy is hell. Being a woman of color in comedy is hell factor two. Being a woman of color with an accent, it is the end of everything. I bought my own comedy club. I'm like, I don't have to listen to you bitches. I'll be doing 10 hours a day,
I love that.
hours a day. And that's what I did.
Still, that's incredible. And still there's a lot of unfair barriers, if that's the right way of saying it. And you see that there's all of this bullshit and you go and just buy a comedy club. You have to tell me
Yeah,
more about
that's
that.
what happens if you don't marry for love, though. You can't buy it because you work in Starbucks, honey. You have to sacrifice.
Yeah. So you were obviously doing stand up and you realized there were a lot of barriers, unfair barriers, and you decided
Very,
to empower your.
it's very unfair for women, and it's very unfair when people say women unfunny. Women unfunny. Women is not funny. Women are not funny. I just know it's not true. We are funny, but things like the men get 9 times more of the stage time of women.
Really?
So they're funnier because you get work out more of the materials. People don't book a woman as much as they book a man. That's
Mm.
known thing in the industry. And I'm not about to. I wish I've been doing it for 10 years, but I'm not. I can't complain and bitch, but I can change that by catching up.
Yep.
So I catch up.
Still, that's awesome. It can be, you just, the word that springs to mind is resilience. You're a very powerful, resilient lady. And, you're seeing these barriers and, that can impact what you feel could be a calling. So you buy this comedy club to empower yourself. And I know you empower other people and you mentor other people. And then you're doing those 10 hours a day. You just went full steam ahead to be the best that you can be. Very rare. Not many people in the world would be able to do that.
They wanted to be the best, but they are not willing to do the work the best do.
Mm.
I don't have friends. You hate me. They hate me because most people they want you to be good. but they don't want to be better than them.
Yes.
And I'm good, then gradually I'm better than them because I put in the work. And they hate me for that. Be like, she's an overnight sensation. I'm like, no, this bitch is here to stay. I have only scratched the surface. What happens? I have my own fucking sitcom, my own fucking movie, my Oscars, and my fucking face all over Hollywood. You're gonna kill yourself, bitch? Relax. This bitch is not done yet.
You're just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
So on that, there is a lot of jealousy in this industry as well. And people, like, as you said, want you to do okay, but not too well because jealousy is a mirror. And so they're just projecting their own insecurities. Have you been able to navigate relationships where you don't feel that? Like, do you have people like that in your life?
I have you as well, they were my friends. I actually invest my time, my energy, my money, my club to host their shows and help them. And sometimes somebody say something shitty about me to important people who are the bookers, producers, decision makers of shows and stuff. I'd be like, why don't you ask blah blah? They will clarify for you. They're like, that's what I heard from is from blah blah. I'm like, I've been giving that person shows for years. I've been not charging money for that person to get stage time and to get their shows. They just take their money and don't even have to pay for my venue. Like, it shocks me because when I'm investing my money and my time to help somebody because I love and care about them, they are the very person talk shit about me, try to sabotage my career. That hurts. And
Of
it
course.
didn't happen once or twice. It happened 7 or 8 times.
Wow.
Those are the person who are the person I don't help. But the very person I help, put them on my stage, giving them my room for free so they can produce their shows and have their time. The other person trying to ruin me.
Have you been able to find better people in that regard? Like, because it's a huge investment. It's very hard to get stage time. People don't understand for all people. And I understand there's more barriers for you, but it's just hard. It's a tricky industry. And then it's stage time, stage time, stage time. You're investing in them. You also have a business. You need to sell tickets. You need to make money. So you're taking potentially a gamble because you know if this person might not be the most well known, but this other person is more well known, you can get more tickets if they come to a venue. So you're investing in people. Have you been
Yeah.
able to surround yourself with better people now? Because it's horrible to hear that people have been taking advantage of you.
I feel like it's awful to say, but like the person who is more successful and more closer to my level are the person tending to be more loyal to me because they don't feel competitive. They want to be in the same team and thrive together. People who are like, I move up too much more than them, they just get really defensive and bitter because they don't understand why I'm moving up faster.
Yeah,
Because
but that's
they
on them. They don't have the self-awareness. For example, in my peer group, I've got people well above me and well below me, but I'm off the mindset because I used to be like that many years ago. It doesn't help anyone thinking like that. So if a friend who's inverted commas below me or above me do well, I'm happy. I don't think about anything in regard to me. They've achieved their success and I'm proud of them. There are people like that. So I'm just wondering, do you have people like that? Because we don't need to surround ourselves with people that don't want the best for us.
Yeah, I'm distancing myself from those people who are
Good.
fake friends.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fake friends because when you're moving out fast, you are upsetting people.
Mm.
And I can't help that because I'm not like I want to be the best comedian of my generation. Like I'm not like I'm 1% there. You are either gonna accept it or shut the fuck up because this bitch not stopping anytime soon. I'm gonna go my whole life to go there.
Yeah. I'm glad that you can see people because, you know, you hear about LA that everyone's just your friend
Oh,
until,
LA is the curtains and curtains of bullshit.
yeah.
If you come here, call me. I'll
I,
help you.
I will
From
actually because I'm
you
trying to
get
sell scripts. So I will. I'll take you up on that offer. And yes, you hear about the fakeness there, but I've been very lucky to speak to a lot of people where there are like pockets and people where it's all about if you succeed, I succeed. And it's that mentality that helps people grow together, regardless of where they are on the spectrum of success.
perfect.
So That's the goal. One of the last things I wanted to tie up, we're talking about you being an actress as well. I know that you've had this script in the works for, I think, over 5 years. I don't know if you started or you're about to start. Can you tell me what made you actually want to get into filming your own movie?
So one of the movie I want to film the most, it is the life story of Anime Wang. She is an actress, I think in the 50s, 60s in Hollywood. She's the first Chinese American actress, and
Ah,
she was in the movie Shanghai Express with Marlene Dietrich, the German actress. I think she's the first Chinese American actress ever reached the level of stardom that right before, Michelle Yeoh and Lucy Liu. She spoke 7 languages. She was a brilliant actress. She was gorgeous, brilliant, amazing. But back then, the only role she can play is the dragon lady, the woman who commits suicide, and also like the side bitch. Because back then, in even in America, it's not legal for interracial marriage. So there's a movie called The Good Earth, which is an Oscar-winning movie, and the novel was her name was like Pearl something. The the movie was a novel, was dubbed into a movie in Hollywood. It's about a Chinese woman and her husband. So that was gonna be a movie for an anime one, because anime one was always playing like this crazy weird
yeah.
creature, because the novel was so good about this Chinese woman. That was her star making role. That was gonna be the moment for anime one to become a star, like Audrey Hepburn, like an Marilyn Monroe. They end up casting a German actress to tape her eye back like this to play an Asian woman, play Anime Wang, because Anime Wang was a bigger star than that German actress. But the thing is, like, they have to have an actress who is not Asian, who is white, to play the role, because there's kissing in the movie, and it was not legal for interracial romance.
It's crazy.
She was not. She was Asian American. She is not legally able to kiss a white lead in the movie. That's why she can't play the lead. And
Wow.
ironically, the German actress with her ad pinned back
With
won an Oscar to play Asian woman.
by
Anna May
pinning her
lost
eyes
her.
back.
She lost her role. She just started drinking. She died in a few years. So I want to play a biopic for Anime Wang, to just to show the world that the racism that exists for women of color. And Halle Berry played introducing Dorothy Dandridge, which Dorothy was this black actress. She was so loved. Everybody, obviously, Halle Berry's playing, and she's gorgeous. She was getting flowers and roses and chocolates. And next thing you know, she's going out to the pool in her bathing suit. She said, "You can't come here. No people of color can be allowed by the pool, because we don't want you to pollute the pool."
Wow. Well, that is insane. But I'm glad that you're doing that role, because that sounds as an amazing
I feel
movie.
like that's empowering for us to remember how
Mm,
far we would come and how far we need to go further.
agreed. And it will inspire so many different elements as well. How did you get the rights to that, or can you just film something like that?
Well, I talked to the writer of Anime Wang, from a Londonman's daughter to a Hollywood star, and then I realized that her life is public domain. I can have a script about her life. I know how to option the book, because the book was optioned by a actress in England.
Interesting. And so when are you starting, or have you started?
I am in my process of getting this movie made. I think it's gonna take a while because
Yeah, it takes a
the
long time.
third film, and I want to be well made. It's gonna be a higher budget
Yeah.
because when I hear the film, I want everything to be perfect. You know?
You have to let me know when that comes out because that sounds like a fantastic film. I'm very excited for that. And the last thing before we get into the rapid fire segment, I forgot about this. That you've got a huge following on TikTok, but I think you lost your account originally because you made a joke about your life or the one child policy. I want to know
Yeah.
how you recovered because you had such a huge following, and a huge following leads to like income and can really help one's career. And then they took down your account, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you cope with that for
It
a
was
joke
very
about your
bad.
life?
It was really bad because when I was canceled on TikTok, it was the same week I moved out of my house, getting a divorce from my ex-husband. I was like, I don't need you in my life. I make 40 grand per month, bitch. And the next thing you know, my ex-husband called his friend at TikTok in China, be like, cancel the bitch. Oh,
Really? Your husband did that? I did not know that.
I did not know that either. It was a joke I make, but why is the same week? I don't know.
Does
He's
your husband have that much pull that he can do something like that?
He
Ex-husband?
does. He does.
Wow.
I don't understand why I'm canceled in the same week. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory. I always trying to find out, but I don't pin it on him. But I go, why? Because me leaving him is like it's not working in the marriage, and I was confident of leaving him because he's super wealthy, and I don't think he also has a big ego. If I
Mhm.
leave him, never give me any money,
Yeah.
and if I can have my own money, I can leave him. My TikTok wasn't making good money. I was making like a 20 grand, 30 grand. It's not a lot of money, but it's good.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty good.
next week it's canceled.
There's a few things there to, you could give up, but once again, resilience, you built it up. You've got over 1 million followers now on TikTok so quickly. Huge credit to you. I don't know how you did it.
1.2, baby.
And it will only go up.
I feel like that is really the moment. I mean, that's also when I just post my joke about China's one-child policy.
Yeah.
That video was weird because I got like tens of thousands of videos, meaning like comments of telling me to kill myself, and also I'll be facing the consequences.
Wow. It's just a joke about your life. I've seen you talk about it and don't know why
So
it would be
so
cancelled.
was my ex-husband because he can pay you to give me 10,000 comments on why I should kill myself for making fun of the one-child policy.
Wow. And so,
And then it
yeah,
actually
go.
the bully kind of turned my stomach. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw up. Be like, fuck you. I survived the one-child policy. It's
Yeah.
my story. I'm now an American. I'm an American woman. I'm in America, talking about how I survived almost being killed just because I was a girl. You are not gonna silence this bitch. Uh-uh. So I went to LA Times, and I'll be like, I'm not famous. I'm nobody. But things like I'm an American woman. I have the right. Oh, sorry, I sound like I'm a hurt. I came here for the speech of freedom.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my story, how I survived as a little girl. And I am proud of who I am. The whole thing that I'm doing this joke is because I want to empower the little girls who've been through the same thing as I did to understand that they are more than society told them. They
Mm.
are more. They deserve to be alive. They deserve to thrive. They deserve the same opportunity as men and deserve everything. And I'm not about to have my voice silenced. I have 1 million followers on the platform. They can't take it from me in fucking America, United States of fucking America. I won't allow that to happen. We are gonna go public about this shit because because my whole life of being not heard, being silenced, is silenced in America. It's not okay. No. And we are gonna fix it. We did.
Oh, so it got reinstalled back?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. That is so inspiring to hear that, you could just
Hey,
not
don't
do it.
see me like if you fucking challenge me, I'm sorry, honey. I'm gonna rise out higher and make you feel worse.
Well, what I'm hearing is that there was an unjust thing that happened and you didn't give up and you fought the fight and you won it. And it was a very empowering story. And the content is very empowering as well. And you're like, there's no way that this story is going to be silenced because it's important and you're important.
It's important. I deserve to be alive.
Yes.
Every girl who went through the same experience deserves to be alive and deserves to know that they're important.
And I hope that it's also a nice fuck you to your husband if the conspiracy is right to show that you're worthy, that you're brilliant, you're empowering, and that you're not going to be silenced. So, yeah, I don't have more to say on that. So I can see you nodding, so that's good. So what we're going to do to wrap up the podcast is to do a rapid fire segment.
Yes.
So whatever springs to mind, but if you need time to think about it, that's okay. And I won't comment on them because I always derail them. What has been your special ingredient to work all of these years and thrive? Do you want me to say it again?
I heard it, and it's such a profound question. I'm destined to greatness.
Say that again.
I'm destined to greatness.
Favorite thing about yourself?
I'm resilient.
Do you have a philosophy on life that you follow?
Zero fuck should be given.
What keeps you in a positive mindset when things aren't going great?
I'm doing the best thing a dumpster girl can ever do.
Oh, that's so good. If you're on Tinder, what would your bio say about you?
I don't belong here. Get me when you can.
If money wasn't a factor, what would you be doing differently if you would?
I'll buy all the billboards in America and put my face on and be like, Tiger Milk motherfucker.
Who do you look up to? Yeah, do you have any role models or people that you look up to?
For stand-up comedy, George Carlin, I want to be like him.
Oh, he's great.
I want to be the greatest of my generation.
And outside of stand-up?
I think I love... I named my son after Winston Churchill because I feel like humanity means courage. And I had courage, and I wish my son, my kids, and all the young people have more courage to not be defined by what you are told to do.
Agreed. What is the funniest thing someone has tweeted or commented about you that still makes you laugh today?
I think like she's very funny for somebody from China.
God, oh, I love your sense of humor that you could just laugh at this stuff. That's great. What is your biggest pet peeve or the thing that annoys you the most?
I think a passive aggressive people trying to belittle me. Bitch, don't.
So good. Is there any advice you want to give people who want to try something different or new, but perhaps are a bit fearful of doing so?
I will tell you that you can do anything you want, and whoever is judging you is because that they can't do what you do.
Very nice. And if you could go back into a time when you were first starting out, what advice would you give yourself and why?
Have more love for yourself.
This is my favorite question. Before I ask how people can follow you, keep up to date with you, and all the gazillion things that you're doing, what is the one question I should have asked you?
What you would say to yourself 10 years ago?
And what would you say to yourself 10 years ago?
You can be anything you want. Ignore the voices.
Very true for everyone as well. So you're amazing. Before we go, how can people follow you, keep up to date with you, and see the bazillion things that you're doing?
I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter at Jiaoying Summers, JIAOYINGSUMMERS.
Amazing. They will be in the episode notes below so people can check them out. Thank you. I love you. You are amazing, the most resilient and empowering person.
I'm going to Australia and you're taking me to the zoo and the forest to see koala bears.
Polar bears. I didn't know we had polar bears, but I will happily do that, and we'll also find some comedy clubs for you, and we'll get you some stadiums.
Oh, I'm going to tour in Australia because I have fans in Australia. They ask me to go there all the time.
You should. We've got a great comedy scene. Yep. We'll see you there, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much, and we'll chat soon.
Honey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love Jiaoying's take on beauty standards and further owning her beauty inside and out. She's all about empowerment and embracing ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly. She explains how we're all unique. We are meant to be who we are and not pretend to be something else. Her message is simple. You are perfect. You define who you are. Jiaoying is a role model and explains that if a dumpster baby can achieve success, so can you. So I'll leave you with this epic quote by Eckhart Tolle. Give up defining yourself, to yourself or to others. You won't die. You will come to life. And don't be concerned with how others define you. Thank you for listening to the Funny and Failure podcast, exploring the deeper side of comedy.